I think I was hooked instantly. Football's been part of my family since I can remember. Even watching the English football was something I did every weekend with my dad. And I've followed Glory since '96 when the club started. The first game that I got to go to was in 1998, which was a friendly in my hometown of Bunbury. Got to see Glory again in Perth the following year when they played Marconi in the semi-finals. And it's really just continued on from that. Growing up in Bunbury meant that I had to probably follow the Glory from afar a little bit more rather than being able to go every week as a youngster. But in the last decade or so, I could probably count on one hand the amount of Glory home games that I've missed because it's just grown so much over time. The friendships that I've made through Glory have probably been, aside from the enjoyment of watching the games, the single biggest reason why I go every week, because I still live in Bunbury, so I do a 4-hour round drive for every single home game. And it's the fact that, as well as getting to see the team, it's an amazing day out with friends, the full experience, and just being able to share that with so many people is such a special thing that, as well as getting to see the team and hoping that they win and savouring it when they do, the social aspect of it is something that I don't think anything else can replicate. I'd like to think the character changes not too much, but I'm normally a fairly quiet and reserved person, but when you're surrounded by hundreds of like-minded people in the shed, or when you're at an away game and there's only a few of you supporting the club and you feel like you need to really make yourself heard for the sake of the team, you definitely do get into a little bit of a zone where you're chanting and you're yelling, and it's just almost a release for those 90 minutes, but it is just something that no other experience can replicate. There's been so many amazing moments watching Glory on the road. My first away game was in 2011, and I think I've probably been to around about 25 away games since then, so it's something I try and do regularly. Every single one of the wins that I've been able to see Glory in has been special. Even the ones that we haven't won though, that social side of it and getting to spend time away with your friends and supporting the club means that there are really good memories that are still attached to games that might not have been quite as good. But one of my favourite games I think has to be it was against Melbourne Victory 2013. It was towards the end of the season. Glory won 3-2 with a goal from Josh Risdon, who's from Bunbury like me, in injury time. It was the goal that basically got Glory into the finals. If we hadn't won that game, it might not have been that way. And being in that away bay when Risdon scored his first A-League goal, and one that meant so much to the club, was just probably the single greatest moment of supporting the club away from home. The Premier's Plate was an amazing moment that had been so long anticipated for so many of us. Prior to that, I feel like being there for the 2003 Grand Final was something pretty special, and the finals throughout the NSL era were all amazing experiences. We perhaps didn't know that it was going to be so long until we got to experience something like that. But the recent success with the Premier's Plate is definitely going to be one that in years to come will be considered right up there. He's definitely up there. Someone I've kind of got to know a bit through being from Bunbury as well, and someone who showed great loyalty to the club over a certain, an extended period of time. But there's so many of the current squad that are fantastic as well. Guys like Diego Castro were so privileged to get to watch every week, and even in a decade's time when he's probably long retired, he'll be someone we'll remember fondly, just as we do with guys like Bobby Despotovsky, Jamie Harnwell, Damien Morey, all those legends from the NSL era that have been part of the history of this club. It's unlike any experience that you'll get in sport. You might go to an AFL game where there'll be 50,000 people there, but the 10 or 15,000 that are at a Glory game, I think, make a lot more noise than you'll get consistently at any other sport. And the whole experience of the day, you go to the pub before the game, you have a couple of drinks, you chant, you banter, everything, and then you just feel like you're part of something bigger, sharing this experience with everybody that you're around on the day. And there's a real sense of community at Glory, that we're all in it together. But just for me, going to a Glory game is so much more than just the 90 minutes between kick-off and final whistle. It's a whole day that you need to experience to know what it's all about. I think if you ask pretty much any Glory fan which particular player they're not fond of, the answer would be Besart Berisha, for obvious reasons, with the history that he's had with Glory. I think There's no particular club, but there seems to be a bit of a mindset that because Glory can seem like an afterthought to some of the teams from the eastern states, particularly Sydney and Melbourne, there's a bit of a rivalry there that we want to just show that we can match it with them and that it's not all about the eastern states. That said, I've got friends who support some of those clubs in Sydney and Melbourne, so there's not an enormous rivalry, but there's definitely a sense of wanting to beat them and show that we do belong. The shirt that I've got on at the moment, I got from eBay from someone in Lithuania of all places. I don't know how someone there managed to come across an NSL era shirt, but I picked that one up, and I guess it's things like that. Some of the earlier shirts are harder to find, so anytime that one of them becomes available, you want to look at it and try and add to your collection, and then over time have a good sense of Glory's history and things that you can wear. This particular one I've worn to a couple of games and it hasn't been too lucky, so I don't bring it out too often. I tend to favour the current season shirt. Perth Glory means everything to me. I've met so many of my friends through Glory and it's given me routine and structure, knowing every 2 weeks or whatever it is during the season I'll be at games. I don't miss an away game, be it on TV or the chances that I get to go and watch the team play live. And without wanting to sound morbid or anything, I don't know where my life would be without Perth Glory, because it's just given me so much joy, so much routine and so many friendships that I wouldn't have had otherwise. And I'm so grateful for everything that supporting Perth Glory has given me, and I hope it's something that will continue for many, many, many years to come.